Welcome, friends, to another exciting episode of A VGM Journey. And I'm your host, The Messenger. The track that we're playing in today's show is shop music from the game Chiki's Chase, and that was composed by Bialo. I've got a real fun show for you guys this week, full of really exciting tracks, a little bit of bad news, but a whole lot of greatness. And I say let's kick things off with another track from Chiki's Chase. That's right, I'm double dipping in Chiki's Chase, and I'm going to play the song Wanderlust Woods, and this was also composed by Bialo. That track that you just heard, that was Wanderlust Woods from the game Chiki's Chase, and that was composed by Bialo. I don't know how this game and this soundtrack flew below my radar, but this is some really good stuff. And Bialo is working his way to becoming possibly one of my favorite video game music composers. So I think he's been doing some really good stuff as of late. I mean, he's also done the soundtracks for both Donut Dodo and also collaborated with T. Lopes on Penny's Big Breakaway. And both of those soundtracks are really good. If only I was able to discover his work sooner, because I would definitely have had him on last year's Masters of VGM episode. And Chiki's Chase, from my understanding, it's a pretty good game. It's a endless runner that's also a mobile game, which that's something that I really don't talk about too much, are mobile games. But this game kind of falls in that tier of really good and worth checking out. And the best part about it is it's free. We're going to move on to something a bit different, and this is coming from the game Plok. The track is Cotton Island, and this was composed by Tim and Geoff Follin. That track that you just heard, that was Cotton Island from the game Plok, and it was composed by Tim and Geoff Follin. I was planning on playing this track on the show for the last few episodes. I was kind of just coming up with some ideas on tracks to play, and I thought this one would be a real good one. And when I got the news of Geoff Follin's passing due to pancreatic cancer, I thought, okay, now is probably the best time to play this track. And though the soundtrack is a Tim and Geoff Follin collaboration, it was mainly Geoff that was the big creative force on the soundtrack, and that this was a track that he composed. So that's why I went with this one. And hearing that terrible news this week just had me think, like, wow, this is a thing that can happen. And it's weird to think that these VGM composers, they're just normal people like you and me, and it's not like this is the first time this has happened. I mean obviously, but I think because I highly respect Tim and Geoff Follin so much that this kind of hits just a little bit different. And from my understanding, Geoff Follin was pretty young, and that this whole thing just really sucks. And all I really want to say is rest in peace, Geoff Follin. You may be gone, but your legacy lives on forever. We're going to move on to another track, this time coming from the remake of Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. This is Pirate's Grotto, and this was originally composed by Yoshito, Hirano, and Yuka Tsujiyoko, and this arrangement was done by Kazuki Komai and Fumihiro Isobe. That track that you just heard, that was Pirate's Grotto from the remake of Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. It was originally composed by Yoshito Hirano and Yuka Tsujiyoko, and this arrangement was done by Kazuki Komai and Fumihiro Isobe. Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door was a game that I really enjoyed on the GameCube, and I've been loving the Switch remake. And that I think the new soundtrack has been really good. And in my opinion, this is a track that I think was greatly improved for the remake. It's definitely got a nice build up, and the strings has this nice sense of dread as you explore this dark cave. And I don't want to spoil too much because even though this is a 20-year-old game, this remake just came out, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that are playing this for the very first time. So out of respect, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. But I will say that the main premise of the game is that Mario is on this journey to collect the 7 crystal stars so he can open the 1,000-year door. This mystical door that has a legendary treasure, and that you get into Mario-related shenanigans along the way. And I think the game is still just as good now as it was, 20 years ago. And I say this all the time, I'm not much of an RPG guy, but this is one that's definitely worth looking into, if you haven't already. And speaking of RPGs, this next track is from a game that I've really been enjoying as well, and that is Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. The track is Bodybag, and this was composed by Ryu Fukuda. That track that you just heard, that was Bodybag from the game Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and this was composed by Ryu Fukuda. And that's going to just about do it for the show this week. If you like what you've been listening to, have your friends check out the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, I think Amazon Music, whatever podcasting service that you can think of, I'm more than likely going to be on there. You can also check out the show on TerraPlayer, which is home to quite a handful of video game and video game music podcasts. You can email the show at vgmjourney@yahoo.com. And you could also check us out on X at VGM Journey. We also have a Discord server for the show, which you could hang out with your fellow VGM journeymen and talk about games, music, and even look at some cool art. I am once again going to participate in Masters of VGM, and this year it's going to be on the women of video game music. So that episode's going to be coming up pretty soon. And we're going to play things out with one more track, and this is coming from the game Rhyme Star. The track is Seabed, and this was composed by Takeshi Abo. Have a good one, everyone.